shared analysis of the United Nations where we don't disagree. It is how to proceed, and we feel, and Colombia feels, that there should be more democratization. In our respectful view, that democratization of the UN can only be meaningful if we expand both the permanent and the non-permanent categories. Colombia so far is only focused on expansion of the non-permanent category. But we are talking to each other, and we believe that as friends we are able to look forward to a time when we will find common ground even on this issue. On most other issues, as I say, we have no real difference, and as far as we're concerned, we see this from time to time on both bilateral and multilateral issues. We've seen it on the Doha round of the World Trade Organization, where they're both committed to seeing that becoming more of a development ground. We have a common perception of shared economic interests as countries on the South, and the need to ensure that in the next reform of the global economic agenda, the common interests of Latin America and India will not be lost sight of. That developing countries will be able to enjoy a credible amount of balance in the international financial institutions. And of course, Latin America is a region in which we have frequent consultations, and Colombia is a country with which we have an excellent bilateral understanding on most of these multilateral issues. We also have a shared, I'm sorry, I've been covering a lot of ground, largely to praise our areas of agreement, so I don't think But on the question of continued shared problems that we face, one is certainly what both Colombia and India, in very different ways and with different histories, had to go through in terms of those who wish to subvert our nations and our nation's stability for their own narrow purposes. We have both been facing the scourge of terrorism. In our case, we face the menace of cross-border terrorism. Colombia, too, is fighting a battle against terrorism, largely fueled perhaps by narco-trafficking, by other kinds of political ideologies. All forms of terrorism, in our view, need to be dealt with decisively. There is no cause that justifies the use of terror against innocent civilians. We have never accepted the notion that there can be any such thing as good terrorists and bad terrorists, as some countries sadly have tended to indulge. We no longer accept the argument that it is appropriate to challenge some terrorists selectively because they harm your own interests, but to condone or even incite the actions of other terrorists because they harm your neighbors or your enemies. Indeed, we find that the famous fable of Dr. Frankenstein is sanitary in this respect, because some countries need to be reminded that monsters, once you create them, will not always remain permanently under your control. All of this, from our point of view, is clear and ambiguous, whether it speaks of our country or it speaks of Colombia. Any form of violence that is designed to take away innocent lives cannot be tolerated, let alone eulogized, whatever the officially claimed objectives are. We certainly don't believe in any clash of civilizations. We believe that all civilizations can coexist, and indeed that no civilization is a monolith, and that anyone who presumes to speak for an entire civilization is indeed being presumptuous, because all civilizations have rich varieties and diversities within them, and there are areas of cooperation across all of these divides. No people speaking for a particular religion or region or language have any right to impose their points of view at the point of the battle of the gun on anyone else. India, therefore, will be a willing partner of Colombia's and others in the global fight against terrorism, and our countries will certainly collaborate and cooperate as appropriate on this front. We talked about the need for an international legal instrument at the United Nations, a comprehensive convention against terror, not because we believe that terrorists are any respecters of legal documents or international law at all, but rather because we believe such a convention will strengthen the hands of governments and place the onus on governments to cooperate with each other in tackling this problem rather than in condoning or tolerating terror in any shape or form. Well, one of the biggest challenges to our two leaderships, I suspect, is how to meet the expectations of our peoples in the framework of the democracy, all the challenges we face within the the mandate given to us by our voters. In this information age where people are so aware of their rights, rightly so, the public space is open, where accountability is managed by the media as well as by ordinary individuals. We as leaders of our countries have to be more responsive. We need to reorient our delivery mechanisms so as to meet our short-term priorities without compromising in any way our long-term developmental objectives. India, as I was explaining to President Arabia this afternoon, has taken up a number of new initiatives in this area. One example I was able to give him was our Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, where we have tried to tackle rural poverty by ensuring that at least one member of every poor family in our villages has the right to 100 days of paid employment from the government. It drains resources, but that's what economic growth is all about. You generate surplus resources that you can then distribute to the poor through effective programs of public works. And we have been able to transform in many ways the lives of rural families across our country in this way. Similarly, our information technology revolution, our Right to Information Act, now the new, not yet passed bill on the right to education, all of this is